Hello and welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host Samit Paul, and unfortunately we are looking back at a defeat for Aston Villa after we suffered a 3-1 loss to Manchester United at Old Trafford on Sunday afternoon. Often referred to as the theatre of dreams, it couldn't be further from the truth for Villa as we endured another disappointing and frustrating defeat in Manchester. I thought the game was finally poised at half-time as neither side showed much quality, and even after falling behind there was renewed hope that we could get something from the game when Ross Barkley bagged an equaliser. However, the usual Old Trafford malaise set in as we went down to a 3-1 defeat, and although neither Liverpool nor Chelsea could fully capitalise this weekend, it was another concerning performance and setback, having suffered our third consecutive league defeat, as questions remain as to whether or not we're running out of steam and or ideas. As with every game, I'll be discussing my 5 key talking points as we have a deeper dive into our defeat to Manchester United. But first, let's have a listen to the boss, Unai Emery, and his thoughts on the game as he spoke to Villa TV.
We played good first half, but was not enough because we controlled of the game sometimes like we planned, and we were stopping them as well. Defensively good. We didn't concede a lot. We had one chances through Oli Watkins, and it was equal match the first half. Of course, here to feel it like with this draw in the first half, we could felt good in the first half, but the second half we started a little bit less than the first half, dominating the opponent like we did the first half. They were dominating more, and they scored 1 goal. After it, we reacted fantastic drawing, and it was the key moment to tie again to recover game plan, or to score the second goal like we did one chances with Tammy Abraham, but conceding some transition like we did, they scored and we didn't score. And in this moment was the momentum for them or for us, and they got the advantage in the result with their goal, and after it again was more difficult the match for us. But we tried, but we conceded as well some transition, and they scored the first goal. Even like that, we had another chances to score 1 goal, but overall it's a little bit pity how we were competing, performing, and how we lost in some momentum the control of the game we had. And through it, of course, they showed their capacity as well individually and in transition to get the advantage they did. Yes, still matches to play, points to play. Of course, we are doing overall a good season, but we need to react and to try to recover the structure like we are working every day to recover it. And we did on Thursday. Today we did as well. Something's good. And next challenge is on Thursday against Lille at home, and then on Sunday against West Ham at home. Of course, we need to be together. We need to be as well working and with our supporters, trying to support, to help everybody, and work hard like we were doing, like we are doing, and try to get good results. Today we lost, but keep going forward like we did before.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after our 3-1 defeat to Manchester United. So on to my 5 key talking points then. And let's start with how the opportunity was there, but ultimately Villa squandered it. Now, this was by no means a vintage performance from the Manchester United of old. I thought they were poor for large periods of this game, but the problem was Villa were ultimately worse. Through the course of the first half, I thought we were able to play our way through their defensive structure. We created openings and 1v1 situations, but there was no quality in that last critical phase of play to make the most of those opportunities. As has been the case for some time now, if we do not create and we don't show a clinical edge in the final third, it comes back to bite us at the other end of the pitch, and that is what eventually played out in the second half at Old Trafford on Sunday. The second point is that there are too many underperforming individuals in this team at the moment. Now, I've been critical of our approach and our passiveness on countless occasions this season. I have questioned whether we've got the right setup, whether we're approaching the games in the right manner, and that obviously stems from Emery and the coaching staff. But I think it's also become clear in recent weeks that many individuals in the current squad are not at the level required to help us to continue progressing. Now, frustratingly, they continue to play either through blind faith from Unai Emery, but I think it's more so out of necessity given our lack of options and poor recruitment to future-proof this squad, and it continues to produce the same results that we're seeing game after game. The biggest concern now for me is that there haven't been many, if any, signs that we have the answers and solutions to produce the necessary quality in our remaining games. And if we don't, we risk seeing this slump rumble on through the remainder of the season. There's 8 games to go in the Premier League, hopefully many more in the Europa League to come as well. And the concern I have, if the individuals cannot raise their level of performance from what we've seen for a lengthy period of time now, then we're going to struggle to find the answers needed. On to the third point, and that is Ross Barkley impresses. Now, it's hard to focus on positives after a collective disappointment like we suffered on Sunday, but I thought Ross Barkley impressed in a rare league start for him, and he capped it off with his goal. Now, Villa have missed a player capable of adding rhythm, tempo and quality to our play in midfield since we lost Youri Tielemans to injury. And although I can't say he was as consistent as we needed or as he was sharp given his lack of playing time, I thought Barkley did a really good job in that role alongside Amadou Onana, moving us up the pitch with speed. Now, that's something that I've criticised Douglas Luiz for in recent weeks. I thought he was better at doing it in the last game, but I thought this was an impressive effort from Barkley, who obviously capped it off with a brilliant finish for his goal to draw us level in the second half. And unfortunately, the quality that he showed in that moment wasn't then matched by those playing further up the pitch ahead of him. And that was our downfall ultimately. The fourth point is that our lack of creativity and attacking quality has been laid bare. Now, Villa haven't scored more than 1 goal in a game since January 29th against RB Salzburg, and I think that is our biggest problem. That's 9 games across all competitions, and the biggest concern for me is that we've yet to show any real signs of being able to find a consistent answer. Now, Tielemans returning from injury will be a major boost given his influence, his quality and what he brings to this team. But surely that alone will not magically solve all of our woes in the final third. Individuals are not performing at the standard needed, as I've mentioned. The collective isn't playing with confidence or cohesion. And game after game, we're watching us fail in these dangerous 1v1 situations. We're surrendering possession cheaply in the attacking third. And instead, we're seeing the pressure go the other way as our defence have to step up and keep us in games. So whether it's a change in personnel, positioning or system, Emery has to find a solution. Gut feeling would suggest that he's not going to change anything because he's stuck to his approach, his principles and the way he wants to play throughout this whole period. And don't get me wrong, for the last 3 years, he's brought us great success, progress and great football. And we're here today because of what he's instilled. But there has to come a point where he needs to make tweaks. He needs to make subtle changes, plan Bs or something to get us going, because at the moment I think we're just really struggling to show anywhere near enough creativity and quality in the final third. On to the fifth and final point, and that is whether or not we are in Europa League or bust territory yet. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Premier League will have the top 5 clubs go through to the Champions League again next season. It is still in a strong position in the UEFA coefficient rankings, but recent results in the past week have obviously raised doubts and concerns as to how many of the English teams will get knocked out and whether or not that will jeopardise our position at the top of the rankings. Now, so at the moment, 5th could still be enough for Villa to qualify for the Champions League, and although Man United are starting to move away in 3rd, Liverpool continue to stumble behind us and are 2 points adrift, with Chelsea centre circle huddling themselves 3 points behind us in 6th. So ultimately, we are still in a good position in the general picture. Take away our recent form, we are still in a good position to qualify and achieve our objective. It's in our own hands still at the moment. We've got to focus on ourselves with 8 games to go and get the job done. It doesn't matter what the other teams do. It's just focusing on what we do. But as the weeks go by, it does feel as though our hopes for qualifying for the Champions League are in real jeopardy. Albeit, like I say, we still control our own destiny for now. So the question for me is, will it ultimately come down to the Europa League if we cannot stop our league slide? First and foremost, we've got to advance past Lille this week. There's no point talking about a deep run in the Europa League without getting into the next round this week. That route, though, could potentially become our more realistic option of ensuring that we achieve one of the most significant objectives we've got for this season, while simultaneously ending our trophy drought. Whichever path it is, Villa will hopefully find the answers to deliver in the coming weeks. And one way or another, we not only book ourselves into the Champions League next season, but it would be such a boost and such a bonus to get a trophy at the end of it. So what were your talking points from our defeat to Manchester United? Do you disagree with any of the points I've made? Let me know your thoughts. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment below. For those listening to the pod via Apple Podcasts, Spotify or other means, please head over to talkvilla.substack.com and get involved in the conversation over there. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. I want to say a big thank you as always for taking the time to have a listen. Please subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening. So that's either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube. Please give the episode a like or leave a positive review if you've enjoyed what you've listened to. Sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack for ad-free Villa news, opinions and analysis, all delivered directly to your email inbox, and there is also an option of a paid subscription for bonus content. All the details will be in the description of this podcast, but for more, please go to talkvilla.substack.com and subscribe. So, to summarise, it's another disappointing defeat in the Premier League for Villa, as we've now lost 3 on the bounce. United have moved clear of us, 3 points ahead, but we do still hold a slender lead over both Liverpool and Chelsea in the battle for Champions League qualification. With 8 games to go, we're still in a good position despite our recent form, but our domestic form has to improve, and it has to improve quickly. It's Lille at home in the second leg of our Europa League round of 16 tie next, so hopefully we advance and we keep our European hopes alive before hosting West Ham United next weekend as we look to get back on track in the Premier League. I'll be at the game at Villa Park against Lille in midweek, so no podcast from me until next Sunday, when I'll recap my thoughts on both games. But for now, on to Thursday, where we've got an opportunity to bounce back and start another big week the right way with 2 wins in 2 at home. Until next time, up the Villa.